Oh boy. Hello, friends. Hello, patriots. Welcome, welcome. It is Monday, and you know what that means. It's a fun day in the news business. There's a lot going on. CNN seems a little bit stunned, and there's a lot more clips that came out today from mainstream media about those poll numbers. They're a little bit confused, I guess, that Trump is winning by so much or is leading by so much. It's hard to say winning. There's no election yet. Anyway, we're going to talk about it. I have a co-host that you all know and love, and let us bring him on right now. I know he's been a little bit busy today, but that's okay. Let's see here. I have to make one little change to the network here. Just 1 second. There it is. And we can bring on the amazing Louis WJM Herms. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Awesome. What's WJM stand for?
Watch my jam. We have to have a little fun in life, right?
Yes, yes. So
Poll numbers.
very, very interesting. So many people watch these things for reality, and I watch them for the manipulation.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a couple takes, and I really wish that I would have seen this before, because I think we could have broken down this piece by piece and torn it apart. But I did write a couple of notes. So what's interesting enough is generally the CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world will show you national polling, right? The problem is with the national polling
At all, and they're still trying, and you know that the numbers they're presenting, although they're very much in favor of Trump, you know that they're manipulated lower, right? And
Well, yeah.
you're right. They cherry pick the specific areas that the swing states, and the specific areas within the swing states too. They cherry pick to make it look like it's close, but it's not close. There's no way that it's close.
And remember, when they need it, they call Florida and Georgia a swing state.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they need it.
When they
Clearly,
need it.
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work in their advantage for this, and this just shows you the pure manipulation of this. And they come off all professional, blah blah blah. This is Tavistock 101. If anybody goes back and study, this is what the media is supposed to do. The
Seating.
media is supposed to be seeding your consciousness, pushing you in a certain direction, getting you to believe that they are the authority when they are so far from that.
Well, they're compromised, or as Juan likes to say, it's a controlled operation. It certainly is at this point. They are an arm of the Democratic Party, or the globalists, if you will. I think that's probably more accurate to call it
I
that.
think that is,
And
yes.
it's sad because they wield so much power. It's like the medical community wields so much power over society. My doctor said this. Well, that has to be the truth. Look, I saw this on CNN. That has to be the truth. What if it's not?
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
they did. I think they did wield so much power. I think. I think the mainstream media. In fact, you hear it. They'll save the MSN for last. Maybe the disclosure. I think they were first. I mean, if you look at the mainstream media's numbers, oh Lord, they're. I mean, Tucker Carlson alone can get more views on one video than the entire mainstream media apparatus for a whole day.
Oh my God, yeah, no question, absolutely
So
no
that
question.
that should tell you what direction things are
Yep.
going.
Oh, no question. We are leading in what we're doing on the cutting edge here, and getting the word out in a way that it's been difficult to do. But let's talk about Screw Big Gov for a minute, because I know that something happened this weekend that was not favorable. And we encourage people to go to screwbiggov.com and get on the mailing list for this exact reason. So screwbiggov.com, Lewis's website, how you keep up with him, you'll find him there. And that bottom right button is the key to finding all his social media accounts. And as that landscape tends to change really quickly, it's a good idea to keep up with where we are, because we don't know how long we'll be where we are, where we might be next. It's crazy out there. And we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that in just a second. But I want to let you know also, if you want to follow me, I'm at Renegade Media on Telegram. You can email me, Robert at renegademedia.tv. So, Lewis, what happened this weekend?
Well, let's look at it this way. If we can all have battlegrounds, and I would say Rumble is a battleground,
Yep.
TikTok's a battleground, X is a battleground, YouTube, and so on and so forth. Some battlegrounds are compromised more than others. That's the fact. And some I'm not so sure that the so-called white hats aren't involved in suppressing our own battlegrounds. That being said, I put out, well, it was actually here. It was a Herms Brings the Heat that Lisa cut up, and we put it on TikTok, and it went mega viral. I mean, really, really quick. I mean, it was, I don't know, well, I think well over 20,000 views, just tons of comments, and all pretty much good. 99% were like, wow, this is a great disclosure. And then they didn't take it off of TikTok. They banned our account completely. So I got a nice little message. You are banned. If you'd like to download your content, you can do it here. And that was it. They just deleted the account, right? Because I guess the telling the truth, or really that was about asking questions, ironically.
Yeah.
So I'm asking questions, and that was considered against their community guidelines. But they didn't give us an opportunity at all. No warning, no nothing. Just, yep, we're going to take your whole account down, yeah. Which is not the first time this has happened. But we were really, really getting traction on that video. So, you know, guys, this is going to probably happen more and more, not less. We ironically, we kind of predicted this the week before, is because we saw our accounts the same day. YouTube and TukTuk were getting attacked, and we're like, interesting, something's in the works. So we know we're on the radar, which is a great thing. Unfortunately, I'm shadow banned on X, so you guys are really going to have to help us over there. I just reposted that other video about a couple hours ago on X. If you guys can go to, it's at Wow Louie on X. Why is that? Because even under Elon, our Screw Big Cub account got deleted. So it's at Wow Louie, WOWLEWI. If you guys can go to Telegram or X, sorry, I apologize, go to X and share that video, because it's shadow banned over there. But everything I do on X is shadow banned. I know, guys, it doesn't make sense, does it? Sounds like we should be in go. So this one I actually put to Elon. I said, at Elon Musk. Let's see how long this stays up. Kind of taunting him. But you know, for about 10 seconds, I was a little bit upset, and I'm like, man, should we just quit? This is crazy. We worked so hard, but that's what they want, right? And my wife's like, you're not going to quit. But she knows I won't, right? So it would have taken me 15 seconds to get out of my depression. She kicked my ass in 10. And so we're just going to fight harder. I got some things we're working on. I'm very, very excited about. Really going to work on making some adjustments to this app, and we're going to roll that out full blast. And it's fun, Robert. It's frustrating, but it's I think if you look at it as a journey, I think it's easier to handle emotionally. What do you think?
Well, they were supposed to in Congress, I think it goes about a month and a half ago, they had slapped social media down and said you can't be in the censorship business. And what happened, I think the DOJ last week said to them, you go ahead and do it. We want, then the CIA is behind it, and FBI is behind it. And instead, what they did is they doubled down and ramped up the censorship. It's an election year. We're going to see a ton of censorship, and I'm seeing it too. I'm also seeing, I don't know if you've picked up on this, but an uptick in the level of anger on social media. There's a lot of arguing going on, even on Facebook, which you don't normally see a whole lot of that going on. But I've been running into it again and again. I'm not looking for it. I'm just running into it. So you can tell the temperature is up in a lot of different ways. And then, the censorship obviously now is in overdrive and probably will get even more intense as the year goes on. A little bit crazy right now. But you're right. Yeah, we're in a war. And, I was talking to Kevin the other day about this. And Kevin the Buzzer guy, love that guy. He's a big supporter of us and helps us out so much. And he was talking about, I'm just putting stuff out there. And the way you're putting it out is in the way that you're walking right into the jaws of censorship. And that doesn't go very far because it's probably just AI today anyway. It's not even a human being anymore. So you put it out, and it's going to get chopped off and deleted pretty quickly. So I said the other strategy, the one that I'm trying to use more and more, is to be a little covert about it, not use direct words that are going to get picked up in there. And, I think of it in terms of, I'm seeing that fact checker, and they're reading my post, They can't make heads or tails out of it, so they let it go. But the people following me know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game. I don't know if that's the right approach, but we got to do something. We can't be quiet, and we can't be silenced as they're trying to attempt to do here.
Yeah, interesting. Alan just posted no visual on AT&T, but can chat, just no streaming on Renegade or ScrewBigGov.
Interesting.
But he can get it on the laptop using the same Wi-Fi. Seems AT&T's blocking stream. Well, that's part. By the way, that's in their policies and procedures now that they can do that. So I would not be surprised. Microsoft's next because it's in their policies and procedures also.
It was supposed to be, and we had this battle, and we talked about it on this show about whether or not internet service providers could be seen as a utility, which they could not be able to ban content, and that didn't go through. And I was a little bit surprised that it didn't, because I thought, well, it's not the greatest approach to it, but at least they couldn't be in the censorship game. Not the case. They can censor all they want. And a lot of people complain about the app on mobile. And it's really true. I was watching a video the other day on Rumble, the app on mobile, and the video just stopped. I couldn't get it to start again. Reset the app, it wouldn't restart it. So there's some problems with the app. I get it. If you're online, that works great. If you're on a desktop, that works great. But on the mobile app, there's challenges. And I think maybe that's a challenge we face here. We see some of our numbers dipping, and I think a lot of that is the frustrations that things just don't work. And it may not be Rumble. It may be the ISPs blocking or throttling. Because what they can do is they can make Rumble streams. They use the IP addresses from Rumble, and they can deprioritize it. So as the traffic gets busier and busier, Rumble gets harder and harder to get through because there's all this other prioritized traffic ahead of it, and there's not enough bandwidth for it. So they don't necessarily outright ban it, but they make the viewing experience pretty crappy, and you don't want to watch it.
Yeah, and then people will bail after a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's
Yep.
some like the people watching live now, they're willing to go the extra mile to make sure that they're watching it. So they'll recheck to make sure they're subscribed. They'll go to your channel. They'll go to my channel. They'll do everything they can to make they're seeing it. And unfortunately, you guys are in the smaller percentage where most people, after a couple slaps in the face, they're just like, okay, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're in a war. Just remember that. Next time you have trouble watching something from anybody or viewing it that you really want to see, just go the extra mile. It's unfortunate, but that's part of your duty, as it's our duty to keep putting out the information.
Yep. The other thing you can try is to load a VPN on your device, your phone, your laptop, your pad, tablet, and go through a different IP address. So what that happens is your ISP, your internet service provider, cannot see where you're going. Basically, it envelops your connection in a tunnel, literally, and it goes right through the ISP, and it pops up wherever the VPN location is. So you could say, I'm coming from France or Japan or Mexico or whatever, and the ISP can no longer block it. Now, if that were to happen, you put the VPN on, and it works great, and you got questions for your ISP. Why are you blocking Rumble? All right? Okay, we didn't mean to go into a technical conversation today, but here's a technical thing that we should probably be talking about. Nebraska ends income taxes on gold and silver, declares CDBCs are not lawful money. Kind of an interesting story. They're not the first. They're one of, I think, it's like 7 states that are doing it, including Utah, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. Governor Jim Pillen's recent signature, Nebraska has become the 12th state to end capital gains taxes on sales of gold and silver. So if you invest in gold and silver and you double, triple, quadruple your money over time, you're not going to pay capital gains on it. Under the new Nebraska law, any gains or losses on precious metal sales reported on federal income tax returns are backed out, thereby removing them from the calculation of Nebraska taxpayers' adjusted gross income, or AGI. This is kind of interesting. Gold and silver are the only forms of currency mentioned in our Constitution. And with that comes the people's ability to use it as such without penalty from the government. Saving and using gold and silver is our right and one of the only checks and balances to our federal government's unending devaluation of our paper currency. And they went on here and they said money does not include central bank digital currency. I think this is really fascinating. What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, I think it is. This is a double-edged sword too, because I think it's wonderful that if all states do this, it also benefits the feds, let's say, the federal government in this way, which people may say, what? Listen to this. If you can value or devalue and either get a write-off or get charged taxes on the increase or decrease of gold and silver as money, therefore you would be able to apply that to our paper dollar, our fake dollar as well. So imagine how that could coincide if the dollar is dropping. Let's say it lost half of its value. You just take a loss for the year. And you just say, oh, sorry, I lost so much money because I hold dollars, right? So I believe this is kind of foreseeing the future. And in my opinion, when we can get over 25 states, 26 states to do this, it literally is taking the idea of the fiat system completely out.
Yeah.
They're saying this phoning money can't work anymore. Unless you're going to value it against gold and silver, which ultimately that would be the goal. So again, we've said here many times, guys, we're going in the right direction. It's moving very slowly. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wants to hear it. It may be a multi-decade experience. Hopefully we'll see the actual hangings of the bad guys soon, and then that'll make everybody feel good. But the reality is fixing the systems is going to take several years to do.
Yeah.
This, to me, is going in the right direction.
I think it is, and it foretells certainly the future. I mean, the banning of the CDBCs, because they know, that's where the government wants to go. There still can be an economy. There still can be an exchange of value for goods and services that you don't have, when you have a central bank digital currency or a fiat currency that's going down in value.
The beauty of this, and I'm going to liken this to the abortion law and the chemtrail laws that we're seeing, and the immigration laws that are being adjusted in states. This is the way a republic is supposed to work. Sounds weird, but your states are supposed to make these decisions.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. That's why they're banning chemtrails in a few states. That's why they're banning abortion or restricting abortion laws in a few states. And that's why they're able to do this gold and silver will have no tax on it if it grows.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful thing. And again, take a deep breath. If it goes this route, it is not going to be a quick process, but it is the correct way to do it. Because if we fix everything at the federal level, then the feds still have the control, and that's what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to erase the past of the feds. So this state-by-state deal is, in my opinion, actually the way it should be happening.
Yep. That brings us to our sponsor. Speaking of gold and silver, Matt Geiger is our sponsor, MidasGoldGroup.com, 480-725-0536. Matt is available to answer your questions about investing in gold and silver and how to really put the value of your money on ice, literally. And, you'll be able to pull it out at a later point. And if you do end up making a profit on it, well, 12 states already are not going to charge you capital gains on it. So it's kind of right in line with what we're hoping here. And you just had a chat with Matt, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And they do a really great job on moving IRAs into gold and silver, by the way. And I think that's the more information that we're hearing about gold and silver and the devaluing of the dollar. Let's just be honest. That's what it is. The devaluing of, I call it fake money, the
fake
monopoly
money. Yep.
Is the more that we're dealing with this and the more people are waking up, you've got to find a way to get yourself into precious metals.
Yep.
And I know it's not for everybody, and that's why Robert and I have agreed with Matt, and we will honor this. In fact, I think we gave away 10 silver coins on Truthathon, and I Lewis has not processed those yet. So that's why there's a delay. You guys will definitely get them. I'm getting emails now. Where's my silver coin? We never will forget. We've got it. I have to process 1,600 emails right now. Not 1,600 coins, thank God, but 1,600 emails. And so it's a lot to go through. In fact, I'm going to be doing that probably tonight. But that being said, if for some reason, guys, you legitimately, that's the word, legitimately, cannot afford a coin of $30 or whatever it is, give Matt a call, tell him Lewis sent you, Robert sent you, and we'll give you a free coin. That's right, a free coin. As long as it's legit. If we feel like people are trying to take advantage of us, then we're going to have to cut that program out. But we believe in the character of we the people, so this is why we've created this, and nobody's doing anything like this. So if you can't afford it, truly, then take advantage of it. If you can, then support Matt and Midas Gold, because they are doing a phenomenal job, and we're getting a lot of great responses from people that are using them.
MidasGoldGroup.com. If you want to find out more, that's where you go. Sky was pretty colorful this weekend. Some people were reporting some really amazing sky photos. I saw some of those. What did you see?
I saw a bunch of people reporting and sending photos. The challenge is I couldn't determine what was what, because when I looked into this, the way it was supposed to go is, yes, some of the northern states kind of in a dome like shape would see this, and then progressively it get less and less. Yet my wife showed me a picture that supposedly, quote, was taken from Arkansas. And immediately I go, it's probably somebody that's just jumping into the fray. But we're seeing a lot of these pictures, and people are taking credit for it, and they're pretty damn amazing, regardless. I think Ian Giannon and I are going to talk about this tomorrow, because I was texting him something in regards to HAARP, and he quickly debunked it, and he thinks this is a natural phenomenon.
Yeah. This is what I got to see out of my backyard, and I don't think that is the Northern Lights. It could be something else. It could be Camp Pendleton. It could be the local town near here. It could be, well, it wasn't the moon. There was no moon up, so I don't really know what I was looking at. That's all I saw. But some of the photos were quite stunning, and that's the whole thing. We really don't know what the cause of it all was, and you know, I know growing up when we had a country house 150 miles north of Montreal, and we'd see the Northern Lights every night. It was just a green light show, and it was there all the time. So every time, and it was really dark up there because there was no city nearby. We were 25 miles from the nearest city, and you know, you would see the sky in all its glory, and you'd see the Northern Lights all the time. So to me, it was like, oh yeah, there's Northern Lights. Yeah, no big deal. But
right, you were spoiled. Mm-hmm. Now it looks like a lot of the pictures were pinkish, purple, orange.
Right. Yeah.
Right, which is very interesting. Now it's interesting you say this, which is true. As a collective, we don't know where it's from. Now, I would assume somebody somewhere knows exactly what's going on. The question is it natural? Is it man-made? Is it something cyclical? Is it something unexpected? Those are the open questions that I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of speculation, and obviously I'm hearing a lot of people claiming they know exactly what it is, which is to me utter bullshit, because I think most people don't know, but they like to be the authority on things.
Yep.
And they just can't authentically say, I think it could be this, but I'm not quite sure. So here I'm just letting you know I have no clue.
Did you feel anything different in your body this weekend?
No.
More tired, more stressed, more whatever, for no known reason?
No, not that I could see.
Okay. Yeah. Both of us were completely drained on the weekend, which is just not that normal to be that drained for no reason. And we're like, what in the heck's going on here? Something's different than it has been. Maybe it's an anomaly. Maybe it was just coincidence. Again, we don't know.
Who knows? Yeah. I don't know either.
I have
no idea. He doesn't care about. I mean, they're just going. The left is going wacky over this, and they're showing fakery. So I've been debunking it on X just for fun. When they'll show a picture where you can see there's a line, and they weren't even bright enough to cut off the line, because that's free entry to the event, right? And I'm like, okay. So I literally said, are you that stupid that you're going to put up a photo of here saying it doesn't exist when you can see the entry line here? Wouldn't you just crop it out? Are you that dumb you wouldn't crop it out? And I said, are the people believing it that dumb? I mean, I was going off.
See
I mean,
the anger on social media. There's a lot of it now. We're
yeah,
pushing back hard.
Yes, it is hilarious.
There was another photo, and it goes both ways, right? So there was another photo that somebody posted, and he says, I took this with my personal camera. It turns out it was from 1998, and it was in Brazil, and the crowd was like 1 million, and you know what I mean? So we're getting it on both sides.
I think I reposted that accidentally, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful with that stuff.
You got to be careful.
I mean?
Yep.
And it was the wrong one. The real one is a like you showed, is a pretty impressive as it by itself, right?
Yeah, that was posted by Dan Scavino, so I figured, maybe pretty safe to post his video, right? Maybe not.
No, I would think so.
I would think so. Yeah, I don't know. 80,000, 100,000 people. It's hard to gauge, right? How do you count all that? And honestly, I'd hate to be in the middle of that crowd and have to go to the bathroom. Excuse me, coming through. Excuse me, coming through. Excuse me.
Well, if it was an Obama event, they would have just went to the bathroom right there in the
That's
stand.
right. Yeah. So, I don't know how they counted this. I know the lines were really long outside of it too, so there wasn't everybody was in at the same time. It was just one of these things. So interesting.
I was involved in that before. They actually do section counting. So they'll hand count about 500. And then they'll go, okay, 500,000, and they just build upon it. We used to have to do this for, believe it or not, properties when we were delivering flyers to properties. We had a hand count and then segment. You go, okay, if this one is 150, then this one is this size, and then you just add on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always had somebody double check to make sure we're within 5%. Same thing here, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of blocks of 500 to count.
Yeah, they probably did a lot more than 500. But if it was 1,000, that's just 80 blocks.
80 blocks, yeah. Otherwise, 160 blocks if it's 500, and if it's 100,000, they're saying somewhere between 80 and 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much football stadiums hold about. They're about 70,000, right, for the average football stadium these days.
Yeah, the largest is like 102,000.
Is it? And I bet that's the one in Vegas.
No, it used to be the Rose Bowl and the Coliseum were very, very big. They've both been shrunken for some reason inside.
Interesting.
Probably to add boxes, I would assume.
Friday afternoon, articles of impeachment filed by this guy. This is Cory Mills. This is from Zero Hedge. He formally filed articles of impeachment against the whole Israel-Gaza thing.
Yep. I bet you can connect them right to the military-industrial complex, or APAC, or is he a dual citizen? I mean, there's so many things to look at right here. It's crazy.
He's got an R next to his name. How bad can he be? Well, you'd be surprised. Okay, so let's talk about the articles of impeachment, because this is the topic that kind of gets me more than any. It's like, where do you think this is going to go? I mean, honestly. So what do we have? A 2-seat majority in Congress now, or 1 seat? It's just like it's razor thin. Most of them are rhinos. First of all, it's not going to get through Congress. But let's suppose by some miracle it did. Where does it go from there? The Senate? Who controls the Senate?
And who is it? Is Senate's tied, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who has a tie-breaking vote?
Camel toe.
There you go.
Yep.
It's a nowhere.
So it goes nowhere. And truthfully, it would never get enough votes in the Senate anyway, because you got too many uniparty there. I mean, what do you got? Rand Paul, maybe? Who else do you have up there?
It won't even get out of Congress, especially if it's specific to the not funding Israel quick enough, right?
Yeah.
So you have enough people to tank this on both sides of that argument.
Yeah. So it brings up the question then, well, why is he doing this?
For attention.
Bingo. Yep. Re-election, right? That's really all it can be. I mean, there's no point to it otherwise. It's an exercise in futility at best.
They don't care. They never care. That's what, when are we going to learn? That's what I just say. There's not a politician you can trust, even the ones you think you can.
Yeah.
Don't trust them.
Yeah. There is a lot of speculation about the Trump trial, and SGAnon is file 74. I was listening to that on the weekend, and he was saying that Trump is a willing participant, interesting way of putting it, in all of this. He's not necessarily in charge of it all, but he's a willing participant in it all. And he said they will arrest him. They will put him in jail. And I said, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I would go along with the willing participant part, only just because this is not Trump's plan. If anybody thinks this is Trump's plan,
yeah, not.
Take a deep breath. This is not. This is well before Trump. This is probably right before JFK. I would think they were starting to cook this up. It looks like it. And literally could have fired some people up post Titanic, if people know what I'm talking about in regards to the central banking system. Yeah. So this is not Trump's plan. Trump is a figurehead. And I don't know why people get so upset when I speak facts like that. That's just what it is. And
your French is a little bit rusty there, Louis.
I guess so. But so he's a figurehead in this. Could he be the perfect man for the job? Yeah, absolutely. That's possible. But the reality is, he is a player in this. He's not the decision maker. Yep. There may be some decisions that he can say yay or nay, but I think we don't want one man to have that much power, because that would defeat the purpose of taking down the deep state.
Right. That
would actually coincide with the way they operate things sometimes. So we have to be careful what we wish for, think, or ask for.
Yeah. We'll invite SGAnon back, because there's a lot in there. He talked about the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, actually doing good things, actually being more on our side, and actually may represent what you and I might call white hat way at it. And he says he went on their website and you could see dozens and dozens of arrests just in the last month. And if you go back, it's like thousands of arrests. It's almost like they're chipping away at this, hitting the low-level players to get to the big-level players eventually. So it's kind of an interesting conversation. It was very different than I expected.
Yeah, I can corroborate that a little bit. I'm talking to somebody that is very, very, very important on the border. That's what I'll say. Extraordinarily important. And I was having a conversation with him over the weekend, and I flat out said, "Who can you trust?" And he says, "Virtually nobody." I said, "What senators, what congressmen can you trust?" And we both agreed there may be 3 or 4 max. And he did say, though, but the Department of Homeland Security is doing some great work, which shocked me.
Same. I felt the same when I heard that this weekend. I'm like, what now? What do you, what? You know?
Even further, he says, "Louis, I know you're not going to agree with this, but even the FBI, parts of the FBI are doing some good work." And I asked, "So do you think the FBI is splintered?" And he says, "Yes, absolutely."
Yeah, no question. It would have to be. And also, I think Border Patrol, too, probably is, as is the U.S. military. Because he was talking about...
The problem is, the Border Patrol has a thumb on them like the others do not.
Right.
So, unfortunately, they're really being held down. So the Border Patrol is more reporting to other entities, and the other entities have to take care of it. Because they're under the green stripe of the Border Patrol, they do not, how do I say that? They do not take the action themselves, fear for losing their position.
Right.
In fact, I'm glad you brought this up. I was very angry at the Border Patrol, and I've talked to a few of the Border Patrols off the record, and I was angry. And I'm like, if you don't stand up, and all they kept saying is, well, we're going to lose our money, we're going to lose our pension, and we're going to get fired. And full transparency, I was very angry. I'm like, well, somebody has to stand up. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
But now the argument would make more sense, because they're going to say, "Louis, if we're not in there reporting on this, you're not going to even know about this stuff." and that actually holds a little value, to me. And I need to back off a little bit. And I've been tough. I mean, I called out two cops in the middle of a restaurant saying, when you're going to stand up and be a whistleblower, what the hell's going on. So I've been really, really tough on law enforcement. We do need some within there to secretly be giving us the information, though, for us to be able to act. So I'm not backing off completely by any means, but I do have more of an understanding of what they're going through.
Well, anytime we generalize, right, and we say it's all, you're going to be wrong, because it's never all. Yep. And it's never none, right? So we know that the truth lies somewhere in the middle there, and it's like you can't look at the world as black and white, although it's easier to do that. That's not true, because that eliminates the millions of colors in between, different things that could be going on and that we don't really know about. And this DHS thing was one of these reminders that we don't know it all, and we don't know what role all these different organizations are playing, and certainly we're playing the role we think we're playing, but we may be surprised later on when more is revealed that we may have been wrong on a lot of stuff going forward. We don't know,
Yeah. Maybe most likely wrong on a lot of stuff.
We thought we had it all figured out, and then they pulled a fast one on us and showed us, no, we don't have it all figured out. Biden's orbit are aggressively pushing to make the 2024 conclave a hybrid production. That would mean in-person speeches from the president, party luminaries, and rising stars to draw television attention alongside a mix of pre-recorded testimonials and videos from other parts of the country. Well, they would still have a live component to it, not totally virtual.
Well, it definitely was or the highest voters turnout in history. So
the media is not allowed to say that. They're not allowed to say that. They've been banned from saying that. I wonder why.
It worked, right?
They can't say he won with the most votes in history. He can't say he won with 81 million votes because nobody's buying it.
I don't understand why.
Why? What's the matter?
When you campaign from the basement, there's nothing more effective than that.
I know. What's the deal here, people? I can't make this up. Can't make this stuff up. All right. This is kind of funny. There's a story, and then there's an update to the story a few minutes later. I think 11 minutes later there was an update to the story. It's kind of cool. So there you go. There's America right there. Anti-Israel, queers for Palestine. Protesters block access to Disney World in Florida. This is from Breitbart. Tensions rose when anti-Israel protesters with the group Queers for Palestine blocked traffic on Saturday outside Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Protesters used their cars to block the exit at Interstate 4. The New York Post reported Sunday. Video footage shows several of them standing behind vehicles and holding banners, one which read "Free Palestine," and what appeared to be a Mickey Mouse image on it. Then, it only took 11... Oops, let's not do that. Let's do this instead. Only took 11 minutes. The Queers for Palestine protesters who blocked the highway exit to Disney World in Orlando have been arrested by Florida Highway Patrol. I'm told they were arrested within 11 minutes. So Florida has a no tolerance policy for people blocking traffic.
Yeah, especially around their income source, Disney World.
Exactly. And look, he's pulling his mask off. I love this photo. He's taking his mask off. Who are you, really?
Here's the irony. Try publicly being a queer in any Arab country and see how that goes.
That's not going to work out too well for you. Yeah.
So, queers for Palestine, queers for people that are against queers. I mean, it's just you can't make it up. I mean, it's just the most ludicrous stuff. You just could absolutely believe. It's like I have. I'm not going to say who. There's people in my family that are very supportive of, how do you say, the freedom of speech of women in America wearing hijabs. Think about that really quick. Okay, if you're wearing a hijab, right? If
You've
don't
been
wear
suppressed.
one,
Hello.
in most Arab countries, that's an issue. Right? So it's amazing watching these people. And when I see women supporting Arab countries at all, I'm just like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you see queers do it. Now, that being said, I'm not pro-Israel on this war. So let me piss off both sides, right? The Israel intentionally let this war happen, and I believe
Its door literally. You start feeding them this food, and within a week, typically you'll see dramatic changes in them. Their behavior, they've got more energy. They're back to their old self again. And you don't notice it because over time, they're feeding them the food, they're getting a little more lethargic, You may not pay attention. You go, they're probably just getting old. Well, I got a cat that's almost 15 now, and
yep.
oh my, he jumps up on the desk and he pushes buttons on the mixer and then gives me white hair because I can't get things to work. It's just, we love him, but he's got a lot more energy than he used to have. He wasn't doing that 6 months ago before we started him on this. Anyway, you can find out more about it, and certainly I would encourage you to do a 30-day trial. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you buy any of the products and go, yeah, my animal didn't like it, you can get your money back on it. The link is in the description of the videos. So whichever channel you're on, just look in the video description and look for Pet Club 24/7. You click on that link and you can find out more. And they have food for cats, dogs, horses, and humans. What? Yeah, they have human food too.
What's your Pet Club link?
RenegadeMedia.tv/pets is what I use.
So you guys go to Renegade Media. What is it again?
/pets.
RenegadeMedia.com/pets.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Okay. RenegadeMedia.tv/pets. Yeah.
.tv/pets. That's what I was looking
And I had
for.
Kristen Ludlow's name there. Instead of your name, I grabbed the wrong shot. Okay. You're not Kristen.
No, not today.
Not today. I get it. All right. If we look at this chart, I'm going to put this chart up here for you. You can look at it with me, and we can analyze together because two pragmatic minds in the same room, that's a dangerous thing. America has 56.1 million foreign-born people. That's 15.6% of the population. Look at the projections for 2030 and 2040. Almost 25% will be foreign-born. This is from Charlie Kirk, posted this. For those of you keeping score, America just broke another new record thanks to Joe Biden. We now have 51,600,000 foreign-born people in America, 15.6% of the population. How many of those are illegal? Only God knows. The great replacement marches on. What say you?
Well, it's bigger than that. So there's a federal law in the works, right? It's kind of there, but it's in the works that they're trying to, believe it or not, get everybody to mandate an identification. Think of this. The Democrats have always been against everybody mandating an identification.
For voting.
Now they're for it. Now they're for it.
Yeah.
Well, no. And they're claiming it has nothing to do with voting. It has to do just to track. Except the states are not allowed to verify whether you're a citizen
Right.
when you vote within the states, but they can ask for an ID. Think about that, guys. That's really what this is about. So it's a game. So the feds will mandate, right, and they're going to try to make a law that you have to get an identification, a federal ID, and the states are not allowed to ask you whether you're a citizen when they give you a voter registration. Go figure that out.
Yeah.
So what's the real goal? It's very, very obvious.
The steel is on, my friend. The steel is on.
Yep.
Yep. Well, it was very clear this weekend that we were looking at some of the things that were showing up on X. That's the main reason they have the borders open, is they don't even need these people to vote. They just need their name on the voter roll so they can associate a vote with it.
100%. Great point.
Yeah.
That's all they need.
Yeah. So they get them to register so they show up on the voter roll. Mm-hmm. They don't care if they show up or not. They're just going to put a Democrat vote next to them, no matter what.
Yep. They're going to vote for them.
Yep.
Isn't that nice?
Yep.
How sweet is it that they're going to vote for you?
It's called the auto vote system. You don't even need to show up.
And you'll watch in 2024 because the steel will be on in 2024.
Oh, yeah. No question. If we get there. We have to preface that because we may not get there.
But that being said, so what could happen, though, is I believe you're going to see a lot of ballots that would be nationally for a Democrat, but for a rhino locally. I believe that's the game, how they're going to pretend like these are real votes,
Hmm.
as in order not to, and people need to be aware of this, in order for not them to throw up red flags like, well, clearly the person, they just don't like Trump, right? But it's because they're voting for Republicans, and this is going to be intentional. I have a feeling
Well,
that
just
the
look at
voter,
Maricopa County's Board of Supervisors, all Republican.
oh yeah,
Not one of
but
them is.
that would be a microcosm of what I think they're going to do
Yeah. Hmm.
nationally, and that would prevent the pushback, and then that could possibly even prevent Republicans from standing up and saying we need a recount, because they're like, well, I got my guy in,
Yeah.
I got my conservative judge in, I got my conservative councilman in, my mayor, whatever it is at the time. You watch. That's, I think, the direction they're going to go. Um, and I sure hope that the good guys are aware of that, because it's very clear to me that that is exactly the path that's going to hopefully.
Gotten very far, but because it seemed like it's very random. You have one here, two there, five there, that kind of thing, and a lot of people had no reactions whatsoever. People are like, yeah, it's probably a conspiracy, you know.
Yeah. Or maybe Trump did, and his team were able to stop a lot of it from getting through, and that's why you accelerated it in 2020 versus 2030, because they just didn't have the product yet.
Yeah.
It didn't have it all. I mean, that could be it. This remains to be seen. Let's backtrack real quick with the election, because something's interesting going on in South Carolina, and we should bring him on, Keith Blanford, which is just a great guy. Um, they're finding ways to push him out, or they found a way to push him out from the South Carolina election. But he's disclosing something I think is very important, and we need to pay attention to this. The deep state maggots, the rhinos, are now calling themselves MAGA, and anybody that opposes them, they're calling rhinos. They're literally flipping the
They're
script,
flipping
because
the narrative. Yep.
they see the momentum of the MAGA movement. So now, and unfortunately, folks, even if you're MAGA, many people don't look into it. They're like, oh, he's making America great again, I'm going to vote for him. So Keith is concerned, and rightfully, that that could work, because people are just going to check that MAGA box, right?
Yep.
Be really careful, because they're labeling real MAGA rhinos, and they're calling themselves MAGA if they are rhinos.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant, but that's the thing you need to know. The deep state is brilliant, but they can be defeated if we pay attention.
Well, these people really should be called leeches, right? Because they go wherever the energy is, and they'll call themselves whatever. I said this before. It's like Bill Clinton did the same thing. I saw he would say whatever he needed to say to get elected, and once he got elected, he did whatever he wanted to. It had nothing to do with any of his campaign promises, right? And these people will do the same. They'll say whatever they need to say. They'll put whatever badge or whatever title they need to put on themselves to get the election. And once they're in, they're so hungry for power, the morals go out the window. It's crazy, but it's truth.
Yep.
It's what we live with right now.
So true.
Yeah. So a lot of the Democrats are saying the economy is fantastic, and they don't understand what Trump is. All these Trump supporters are saying the economy sucks. How could that possibly be? Well, credit card debt might tell you a little bit of a story here. In April, it got over 1.05 trillion. I don't want that credit card bill. What do you think about that? Wow. So people are living off their credit cards. I mean, that's what you read into that, right?
Yeah. So here's what happened. I saw this transition, and I started to point this out to people. We, the people, have gone through a mental transition, and it's really sad. So what happened before is, anytime the economy traditionally started to tank, people would pull back, and they would stop buying as much stuff, and they pull back, and they start saving and doing what they can. Now there's almost a doomsday approach. So they're just running up their credit cards, and they're spending like drunken whores. All the restaurants are filled. People are all over vacations everywhere. Even if they don't have money, it's just they're living it up, I believe, because they feel like it's over.
Yep.
And you know what? We might as well. There's nothing we can do, so let's just do it. And that has never happened in the history of this country, ever. When the economy retracts, everything else starts to retract. People pull back. They start staying home. More savings. It's exactly the opposite right now. So that's a scary, scary, scary sight right there. And they're just all going to claim bankruptcy. So all it's doing is it's propping the economy up temporarily, and then we'll just have a bigger fall.
Yeah.
And maybe it's time for that.
Yeah, well, maybe the Nasara Jassara promise playing a role here too. People are running up the credit cards thinking there's going to be a jubilee and all that stuff's going to get wiped out.
But how many people really believe that, Robert? I think so. We're in an echo chamber here.
Mm-hmm.
Even within our echo chamber, I would hope less than 20% of people are actually making decisions based on their thought of Nasara Jassara.
Right.
So, but we're only the 5%. So 20% of 5% is 1%. So I would say mathematically, I'm not to debate you, but I think mathematically that may not be the case.
No, I would agree with that. I don't think it is. I don't think there's enough people who really understand even what those terms mean. But
right.
It's just another
within
piece
this community,
to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Within this community,
yeah.
And we've known some people. I can tell you 3 that I know that did some certain expenditures because they thought Nasara Jassara was right around the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know 1 for sure, 2 actually, that don't do what they want to do because they're waiting on Nasara Jassara.
Yeah. Yep. I know a couple who are doing the same thing. They're on hold, waiting for it. But you could be on hold for a long time. And I think the best lesson you could learn during all of this is live your life right now. Don't wait for that time when. It's just keep living, keep doing what you need to do or you want to do in your life. And this idea of waiting for, the big guy to come along and fix things. It's like, do you really believe that if Donald Trump were to become president tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., that everything gets fixed right away? No, we've got decades of repair to make here, right?
Yep.
He may be the catalyst to start it, but there's a lot of repair to do. We've got a lot of deep damage to this country right now.
Yeah, yeah. In addition, real quick on the credit card debt, unfortunately, a lot of people have to use it, their credit cards, just because. Look at the inflation, which your Democrats will tell you doesn't exist, but it's at one of the highest levels of all times, actually.
What are you talking about? The economy's roaring. What are you?
The inflation alone, and by the way, that's a false prop up of the economy that I don't think people understand. So let's talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. So what happens, let's say everything's on average $100. Okay. And then that's taken into account to how the economy is on gross GDP and so on and so forth, what the purchasing power of the United States is. If everything goes up 20% and your GDP stays even, right, or even goes up 2%, you'll have whoever's in the administration at the time going, look at that growth. That's amazing. That's fantastic. What they're not taking into account, but they know, is that everything costs 20% more, and you have to still buy the essentials. Yep. You have to buy the gas. You have to buy the food. You have to pay the rent. You have to do the utilities. So yes, you can still have growth while your dollar is completely devalued and you have a lot less food on your shelf. Both, they're not mutually exclusive, and that's part of the manipulation. They'll report the numbers of the GDP, which are completely false, because what they should do is they should report it based on the value of the dollar. Nobody tells you that in economics, by the way. If you report our financial growth as a country based on the value of the dollar, you will see sometimes a flat line or a dip like
right.
you would see right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the manipulation, of course, is per who's ever in the administration at the time. I.e. Obama is really good at this.
Government numbers, Lewis. I'm not buying it. Hey, did you know that I know you don't drink coffee, but I know people in your family who do. Going to be in trouble soon. Soon they're going to be drinking synthetic coffee. I don't even know what this is.
What the?
I never heard anything about it. Synthetic coffee. How is that even possible? This is according to the Wall Street Journal. 2 billion cups of coffee a day. You'll soon be have human-made alterations, but that's not true for you and I. That's only true for some people. Because we have a different idea about coffee, don't we?
That's right. In fact, my wife is now drinking the dark roast coffee from Ascent Nutrition.
Yep,
and
that's what we're going at. It's organic, mycotoxin-tested coffee. So you don't have to drink the synthetic stuff. You can drink the good stuff. So is she enjoying the dark roast?
She is.
Yeah.
She just started the drip a few days ago.
Oh, perfect.
The dark. She loves
perfect. Yeah, this coffee tastes very different than any other coffee that I've had. It's really, really good. It's very clean. They make sure that there's no mold. The mycotoxins are very common in today's coffee, Starbucks, and all the store brands that you buy, the Dunkin' Donuts and all the rest of it. This is a very clean coffee. It costs a little bit more because not all of it qualifies, right? So they have to take the cream of the cream when it comes to the crop, and they only take the best beans, and it takes a little bit more time. So it's single origin. It's Guatemalan coffee. Tasty notes of almond and caramel, and that's very true. Medium and dark roasts and whole bean or ground. You can have your choice. So if you want to find out more, you can go to sbgascent.com, and we talked to Lance a lot about this coffee, and he's really particular, and he gets the beans from a family farm down in Guatemala, and he's very, very picky when they come in. He almost goes through every bean to make sure he got the good stuff there. So if you want to try it out, we welcome you to do that. sbgascent, ASCENT.com, and you can find out more about that great coffee product that Lance has. All right, let's see. Tough stuff out there. TikTok got banned in the United States. You might not care after getting kicked off TikTok, but it got banned. And now we find out.
Tick what?
Tick who?
What? TikTok, the clock? What are you talking about here?
Now we find out that Google and Meta spent millions lobbying before TikTok was hit with a bill in Congress. They didn't like the competition. So they literally spent all kinds of money. So Congress passed legislation to force TikTok to divest from its parent company, ByteDance, or face a U.S. ban at a record speed back in March. Well, why'd that happen? Meanwhile, TikTok's main competitors, Meta, Google, and YouTube, were working furiously behind the scenes to make sure nothing stood in the way of that, new disclosure suggests. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, and Google, which owns YouTube, dumped millions into well-connected lobbyists to infiltrate Washington and knock out their top competitor. In the first quarter of 2024 alone, from January through March, when the bill was introduced, Meta spent a staggering $7.6 million on lobbying, according to the disclosures. In the last 3 months of 23, it spent $4.6 million. Google, meanwhile, spent $4 million on lobbying in the first 3 months of 24, and $3 million of which went to its in-house lobbying team. Let's ban them. Let's ban them. We can't compete against them. We can't beat them. Let's ban them. Hey, wait a minute. I've seen that strategy before. Where have I seen that, Louis? You can't beat them, you jail them.
I've never seen it before. I can't believe it even exists.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, well, the first thing that we have to do. So I'm actually writing a 3-point plan as we speak for Congress. Here we go. Here we go. All right, cool. I now got a 3-point plan written for Congress, live right here on SBG News.
Oh, tell us.
Number one, all lobbyists are completely banned. They cannot talk ever, have any conversations with anybody that holds a political position. Number one. Number two, if you're in a political position, you or a close family member cannot buy stocks. You have a military type trial on the House floor where you are tried, convicted, and hung for treason all at the same time in front of all your colleagues.
That ought to teach them.
That plan alone, I think, would solve everything.
Well, nobody would want the position because they make all their money from the lobbyists and the insider trading.
I think good people would want the position.
Right.
Good people that care would want the position.
Yeah. Because the 147, whatever it is, 148,000, whatever it is they make, not very attractive for the amount of scrutiny and abuse they have to go through and the millions they have to raise just to win that office. They know they're going to make all that money on the other side of it. That's why they go through it. So,
right.
Yeah, it would change the dynamic dramatically, wouldn't it?
Sure would.
Yeah.
No lobby, no stock purchases, and public trials on the House floor. Woohoo!
Woo! Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. What do we have on our rundown here? We got a few more things. OpenAI has just demonstrated its Chat GPT-4 model doing real-time, sobering number, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's scary. I'm really concerned. Not, I believe that President Trump had to do Operation Warp Speed on this and so on and so forth. And it's really hard for people that are on the good side of history that are within the medical community to look past that there may have been a bigger plan there. So I empathize with them. And some of them have completely dropped Trump. They're so upset with him. It couldn't be because they're just looking at the stats. And I get it from their point of view. Two things, though, I would say, if the bad guys were really, really effective, the last thing that they would want to do,
Yep. Hey, we want to remind you to go have a look at Neumi. Neumi's skin is what keeps Lewis and I looking like we're in our 20s, although we're not in our 20s anymore. The glutathione product that helps you tighten and lighten your skin up. A lot of people are going without makeup, and here is our lovely Christine Geiger. She helps us out so much on The Truth Show. We love her. February 2023 with makeup and February 2024 without makeup. Does not look like the same woman. So much younger on the right-hand side. She uses both the spray and also she uses the NutraSwish. This goes in your mouth, you swish it around, it is absorbed sublingually under the tongue, and it goes into your system right away, and it's also got turmeric in there to help the glutathione absorption. You can find out more about these products and how to look younger and feel more energized. You'll find the link in the description of our videos. Just go down there in the description, you'll see the Neumi link. And we appreciate Neumi for supporting us and for making Lewis look a lot younger than me. I don't know. All right. Joe must go. I think he must.
really.
Brother, I love the lyrics. I think she said November 6th. I think it's November 5th. One little bug was great.
Remember the 5th of November.
Yep. Remember the 5th of November. Fun video. Here's a baby that has trying ice cream for the very first time. This reaction is absolutely priceless.
Ice cream for her birthday party. No. Legally, let go. Let go. Let go. You got a helping brick.
I don't know. Were you that way when you tried ice cream for the very first time, I wonder?
Oh, probably. I was a mess, especially macaroni and cheese. It was up my nose and everywhere.
Oh, brother, that was just too funny. We couldn't stop laughing when we found that video. I'm like, oh, this is good. We got to play this one. So, anything else you'd like to leave us with? What's coming up tomorrow?
We have E&G Anon tomorrow,
Okay.
which will be fantabulous. That'll be a lot of fun, and he's going to go down a different road. In fact, I was joking with him over the weekend, and I said he's coming out of the proverbial closet. He makes me know, not that closet. He let me know. But I was joking, saying he's coming out of the proverbial closet because he's going to go through a whole more esoteric side than we're used to tomorrow, and I think it will just be fantastic. He's got some very interesting takes.
Fabulous. Can't wait for that. And we'll be back on Wednesday with the news program, and then later in the week we have somebody on Thursday too, don't we?
Yeah, well, Thursday. Who do we have on Thursday? Oh yeah, you set that up. You're talking. We'll talk about it.
We have Jarek Robbins. Who? Tony Robbins' son, his actual son, by the way.
I know. That's amazing.
Yeah, not the three that are Becky's children, but this is his actual son, who's also a motivational speaker and is the I think the CEO of Success Magazine now. So we're going to have a chat with him. It's going to be a lot of fun, and he is looking forward to it. He reached out. He wished me happy birthday, and I said, "Hey, Jarek, we need to do an interview." He's like, "Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good." So we've got that set up, and we'll have an opportunity to chat with him about all things mindset and be able to help you navigate these crazy times that we're living through. Lewis and I are seeing it. We're seeing people falling off the wagon here quite a bit. And I don't know about you, Lewis. I spend a lot of time putting people back together again when they get disillusioned and disheartened and want to give up and throw their hands in the air and say, screw this, can't do it anymore. You know?
I just tell people, I said, are we in a war or are we not in a war?
Yeah.
They say, yeah, we're in a war. I go, then pick yourself up by the bootstraps and let's go. Let's get moving, right?
Yeah.
I get it, but we can't be feeling sorry for ourselves. We can't get down. You just need to keep trudging forward. I'm sorry, but if we're in a war, right, and we're moving forward, or your shoelace gets untied or your shoe gets blown off, or you're just going to say, well, I'm done for today. No, if I would have done that, I would have quit right after my 15th banning on social media happened. Right? We just can't do it. Wednesday, guys, we also have a phenomenal, it'll be the news, but we have three news participants coming on our show. One that's probably going to talk a little about the XRP, one that has some financial news, and then somebody else also. So it's going to be a really cool Wednesday show for you.
It'll be a really big roundtable.
Really big, I said, really big.
A really big round
I don't think
table.
they won't all be on at the same time, though.
One after another. Yeah, I like that. One after another. That's a lot of fun.
Come on their spots. It'll be fun.
Cool. Thank you, my friend. Great show today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate doing the color.
And I appreciate all of you watching us. And remember to follow, like, and share. We appreciate you doing that because it helps us get the message out there and really help people understand that there's another way of looking at all this craziness. We can laugh about it too.
Yeah, we need to laugh about it.
Yep, no question.